Let's talk about Baby Girl, the movie that everyone is whispering about how sexy and edgy it is. And yes, it is fucking hot, but it's also wildly unethical. So I'm gonna be breaking down why this movie is not an accurate representation of BDSM. If you've been here for a while, you already know I love BDSM. I love that dominance and submission can be deeply healing and powerful and beautiful, but Baby Girl gets a lot of it wrong. So let's get into it. But honestly, it's Hollywood. Of course, they wanted to glamorize things that just aren't ethical. Anyway, one of the biggest red flags in this film is the complete lack of negotiation. BDSM is built on communication, boundaries, consent, and yet in this movie, we get scenes that completely ignore that. And I'm gonna give you 3 examples. So first of all is the classic milk scene. It's a very hot scene. The boy orders her milk in front of all of her coworkers at a bar. Milk. She looks at him, she hesitates, and then she downs the fucking milk. It sounds harmless, right? But here's the issue. This was never negotiated. In a real dom-sub relationship, something as seemingly small as food play or controlling needs a prior discussion and enthusiastic consent. So that could have looked like him saying, hey, at the next company party at the bar, I want to order you a glass of milk and I just want to see you down it even though I know you don't want to. Or the other way around. Maybe she goes to him first and says, hey, I would really love to do this and I want to be forced to drink milk. And then he would say, I would love to control what goes in your mouth. Negotiation, check. It can be sexy. I think a lot of people think that negotiation ends up being not sexy, but it can be very hot if done well. Number 2, we then have a scene where manipulation becomes disguised as dominance. He tells her, if you don't do everything I say, I'm out. My friends, that is not dominance, that is coercion. Negotiation is called negotiation for a reason. A true dominant leads with awareness, with respect, not ultimatums. Another moment that might seem sexy at first glance is when he tells her to get on her knees inside of that hotel room, or I don't even know if it's his apartment or not. But anyways, he says to get on your knees. But was there negotiation? You can't just walk up to someone and tell them what to do and expect them to blindly follow. So naturally, her first reaction was like, and then of course, she ends up doing it and they have a hot time, but at least I think that's how it happens. But the point is that she says no initially, naturally. There was no discussion around limits, boundaries, and desires. I actually had a client who had somewhat of a similar issue where the man was just demanding her to do things. And at first her body was like, oh, this feels weird. Then she naturally opened up to it. But was her body's reaction actually the truth? And did she just override? Yeah, she did. And that's what happens when we don't have a conversation around consent and boundaries. And the fun thing about negotiation is that you can say to someone, hey, this is a really big edge. I want to lean into it, but at first I might be scared, but I actually really want to do this. Hello, open communication. Because in real life, this might be fawning. This is a trauma response that leads someone to just nod, and say yes to avoid getting hurt. Fawning is so natural. I used to fawn a lot. I think a lot of women fall into the trap of like, oh yes, finally a man is taking the lead. This is what I've always wanted. But when you really go into your body and ask yourself, am I ready for this? Is my nervous system ready to surrender in this capacity? Do I feel safe enough to surrender? Those are questions that need to be asked. Or is it just the little girl inside of you that's prematurely jumping up and down, being like, yay, finally, a man is showing up with security and direction? I've been there. Listen, daddy issues run deep, y'all. They run deep. So anyway, back to Baby Girl and all of their red flags. Another red flag about this movie is that their relationship evolved so quickly. If Baby Girl had been a series instead of a movie, maybe the dynamic would have felt more believable, but instead we get this rapid fire situation where they meet one day and the next, he's already telling her, you like being told what to do. And yes, there's something intoxicating about a dominant that recognizes your submissive desires. I mean, honestly, he says things that make her feel so seen. And that's part of what the allure is here, right? He tells her, you like feeling like I can take everything away from you. And you can see it in her face in those moments. She's like, yeah, I fucking do. Yeah, I like that. But here's the problem. Just because someone sees you in a way that others haven't, doesn't mean that they're your person. Certainly doesn't mean that they should be dominating you. Doesn't mean that they're safe. doesn't mean that they're trained as a legitimate dom who knows how to honor your boundaries, desires, your fears, all of the above. So if you want to build a dom-sub relationship and create an actual scene together, by the way, I recommend my BDSM playlist where I break down so many aspects of BDSM. Or you can follow me on Healing with Kink where I talk a lot about this and a lot of other stuff. I have been a professional dom, I have been a sub, and I can say that from both sides, it is so needed to negotiate and have clear communication. So anyway, I digress about the red flags. Let's give the film a little bit of credit. Here's one thing that I really do appreciate. The movie highlights something really fucking important, and that is the idea of having multiple selves. So Rami, the main character, she is powerful and very blunt at work, right? She is this sharp figure. And yet at home, she's nurturing and loving, and she loves cooking for her family and having dinners with her family. And in the bedroom, she craves submission and surrender and for a man to completely take control of her body. And all of these versions of her are equally valid and beautiful and deserve to be expressed. And that's part of what I teach within my membership, The Embodied Woman, is just teaching women how to become more expressed. So if nothing else, I hope this movie serves as a permission slip to explore all aspects of you. You can be strong and soft. You can be a leader and enjoy being led. You can be in complete control of your fucking life and yet crave to surrender and soften in the bedroom. So is BabyGirl sexy? Yeah. Is it a good representation of BDSM? No. Sorry. BDSM is not just about one person taking control. It's not just about one person taking control just because they feel like it. So I'm curious, what do you think? Have you seen the movie? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you feel complicated about it like I did? Let's talk in the comments because I am very curious about your perspective. And if you want to explore more, make sure you like, you subscribe, share this with a friend. Everyone should know about the healing powers of BDSM. If you're new here, I talk all about BDSM, feminine embodiment, sacred sexuality, tantric practices. I am the portal for all things sacred sexuality. Thank you for being here.